Hey everyone, Scorpius here. We're back with another Blood Mage build. As I promised, and due to popular demand, we will actually cover the budget version of this video and this build, which is a build that I consider the best build in Path of Exile 2 right now in the Dawn of the Hunt. So without any further ado, I'm going to try and cut this video as short as possible. We've covered everything that has to be covered in that video, so do make sure that you check that out as well. If you do have a couple of divine laying around, or you can sell stuff and you can invest in this build, then you can follow that one. But if you don't, then as I promised, this is a budget version of the build. So if we look into the max roll, I'm going to create a brand new max roll so you don't get confused with the two things, but this one is a budget version, and you're going to notice that it's only dedicated to the focuses, and that's because the shield and the sacred flame cannot have a cheap alternative. So we're going to look at the focuses, and actually I was pretty surprised with how well we performed and how cheap it was. So starting things off, there are two versions, the spirit version and the health version. For anybody who doesn't know, spirit version is going to focus on the threaded light focus, and the health version is going to focus on the Rathpith globe focus. Both of these, you're going to stack spell damage with spell damage, will then be converted into attack damage from this crown of eyes. This unique right here, the helmet, is what makes this build possible and the spirit build possible. And how they're different is very simple. It's in the name. One is focusing on stacking spirit, the other one is focusing on stacking health. Spirit version is a lot cheaper. Health version is a little bit more expensive, but it's definitely doable, especially at this point in the league. But I'll give you both alternatives. I'm going to show you how much I purchased every single piece of gear, and then what we're going to do, we're going to go together live real time so we can defeat Zesht. Okay, T4. So let's begin. The abilities here for the spirit and the health, how they're different is that the life remnant is going to have one more support gem on the spirit version, which is going to be vitality. The reason why is because we're stacking spirit, so we do have more spirit on this version. Obviously the health version is not going to have the vitality in there. Everything else remains the same. Lightning spear is the main ability that you're going to be using on mapping. Obviously you just walk around, throw the spear, everything dies. Then Rake and Blood Hunt are going to be within the rotation of the bosses. Rake is the most important ability here that you need to time correctly and make sure that you hit it correctly, and then Blood Hunt is your executioner. These two, as we said in the previous video, they are not mandatory. However, they become a slightly bit more important now that our gear is not insanely min-maxed or super expensive. Like, I don't have a chest piece that costs 25 divine or a Tangle Tongue that costs like 26 divine. Everything here is exalted orbs, so we do need the booster in damage. Disengage is going to provide us with that physical damage extra, and Orb of Storms is going to provide us with the rage that we need so we can increase our damage. We're going to see that in a second. Infernal Cry once again remains the same in both versions. Herald of Thunder and Combat Frenzy are going to be there for the mapping. However, as you can see, the spirit version is going to have clarity on there so we can be able to regenerate some more mana. The health version cannot support that because we don't have enough spirit. And then the final thing here, the difference between the two, is that both of them have Blasphemy on low level and Temporal Chains on low level, both of them. However, the spirit version will have Encumbrance and Focused Cursed. Why? Because this is going to be active through mapping and bossing, whereas the health version, you're not going to have that. You're only going to have Blasphemy for bossing. Personally, in the main video, you will see that I'm currently maining the Blood Mage, and I have the health version. I think it scales a little bit better because how many things can you actually get with spirit? You can get a good Time Lost, but that's also very expensive. You can get a chest piece with a lot of spirit and an amulet with a lot of spirit, or you can convert everything into the Regalia that gives you even more spirit, or you can actually run a monk, invoker monk, with the Lead Me Through Grace, the ascendancy of the monks, to give you even more spirit. But that's about it. Whereas health, I can have health in every single piece of gear almost. Now, when it comes down to the passive tree and the ascendancy, within the ascendancy, there's going to be only one difference between the two builds. On the spirit one, you're going to go for Gore Spike, so we can get critical damage bonus per 40 health. We don't have a lot of health, but it's still something. Then for the health, instead of Gore Spike, you're going to go for Crimson Power. power, and that's basically it. Now, regarding the remaining tree compared to the main build and the video that you saw before, the only difference that I did here for slight increase in our shield so we can be a little bit tankier, we got these 3 nodes instead of these 2. This doesn't really affect us in any way, but it does give us a little bit more energy shield to feel that survivability a little bit more. Again, if you guys need to be a little bit tankier and you feel that you're dying too much, then you can either invest a little bit more into your jewels so you can get critical hit chance in your jewels, so you don't need to go with so many critical clusters all the way here, and with those points you can actually get this triangle so you can get even more evasion and energy shield and stuff like that, things that are going to help you survive longer. Okay, so now let's look at the gear and what I purchased. I did take a screenshot of every single thing that I purchased, so let's begin with the Tangletongue, the budget edition. We've got a Tangletongue right here, around 18% critical hit chance with 2 sockets on it at around 20 exalted orbs. If you cannot find one with critical damage bonus in them because these soul cores actually cost a lot, you can put the physical damage into your Tangletongue, but if you cannot afford 20 exalted, try and get anything with 18% and over, even if that means that you're going to go for 1 socket so you can start the build. Now, the focuses, the threaded light focus, we've got around 5 to 10 exalted orbs depending on what percentage of spell damage per 10 spirit you're going to go for. I managed to get an 11%, which is not bad for 5 exalted, which is basically pretty free. It's very, very cheap. Now, Rathpith focus though, it's 1 divine, the cheapest option here. Again, in the standards of the league right now, 1 divine is very cheap, but I understand if you guys do not have that. If you don't have that, maybe you can start with the other focus and then save up the 1 divine so you can get yourself the Rathpith. But if you do have the divine, maybe it will be better to start with a Rathpith so you can build up only on maximum life because it's going to be a lot easier. But if you don't and you start with the build of the spirit, it will still be okay for you to convert later on. It's all good. You can get an amulet with spirit and maximum life, and the same goes for the chest. Speaking of the body armor, we've got the 2 versions right here. The first one has the 45 spirit that we need. It has a little bit of maximum life as well, which is what I was saying before. Triple resistances, evasion, and energy shield at 20 exalted orbs. And the body armor with the maximum life here, which has double the maximum life of the previous one. It costs a tiny bit more at 30 exalted, but this version, don't forget that we don't care about evasion, we care about energy shield because of the Ascendancy Crimson power that gives us 100% more maximum life from the energy shield that we have on the body armor. So it's really, really good, but again, very, very cheap option right here. Moving on to the mandatory unique of the build, we've got the crown. The crown with 1 socket is very cheap. You can find it around 5 to 6 exalted orbs, as you can see here. And then if you do want the 2 socket one, I found that to be around 40 to 50 exalted orbs, and 2 sockets is going to be a little bit better because you can cover more resistances if you put like fire or cold or lightning resistance onto the helmet, so you can cover whatever you need. Or if you're going for the maximum life, you can put the maximum life soul cores in there. Moving on to the gloves, we've got this bad boy with 16 to 36 fire damage to attacks, 1 to 10 lightning damage. We've got maximum mana, which is a dead mod, but it's fine, plus 2 levels of all melee skills, and most importantly, we've got a lot of dexterity and a good amount of lightning resistance. All of that for around 25 to 35 exalted orbs. Next, we've got the rings, of course. I've got a screenshot of 1 ring just so I can show you that it varies depending on what you guys go for. It's got triple flat damage. Yes, physical damage is not a lot. Fire damage is decent. Cold damage is quite a lot there. 10 dexterity, 42 cold resistance, and only 10 lightning resistance. But again, this is 4 exalted orbs. As you can see, it's been posted 7 days ago, which means that nobody buys this. So if you raise the price to 10, 20, 25, imagine what kind of rings you can go for. So again, you want to look for 2 or 3 flat damage dealers, at least 1 attribute in there, and the resistance that you need so you can cap stuff. That's going to be both of your rings, but they're pretty cheap options. Now, moving on to the amulet, we've got the spirit amulet that looks something like this. We went for the solar amulet that gives you extra spirit as the implicit. We've got 11 to the spirit on the implicit, 46 on the main amulet. So only this amulet gives us 57 spirit. And don't forget, we need the spirit because it scales our damage from the threaded light focus. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a +2 with this much spirit, but +1 is going to do fine. But most importantly, it gives us 18 strength, 23 intelligence, not bad, so we can cover our support gems and everything else that we need without actually taking away from our dexterity. And then we've got a second amulet that I wanted to show you, which is the life amulet. Again, we managed to find a solar amulet with 14 spirit. It has 76 maximum life. Here, we managed to find +2 levels on melee skills, which is very important. Some strength and some mana regeneration, not that we need it, but again, it's a very cheap option, so expect to have 1 or 2 dead mods on it. The anointment for both of these is going to be Preemptive Strike. It's really good, 100% increased critical damage bonus against enemies that are on full life. And the good news is that all 3 distilled emotions are very cheap. If you have them or you find them or you want to purchase them from Alva in your hideout, you need Guilt, Disgust, and Greed. I think every single one of them goes for probably 1 or 2 exalted orbs, so very, very cheap option here. Next, we've got our boots. Of course, we're going to go for 35% increased movement speed, some energy shield on there, maximum mana is dead, but it's fine, 23 intelligence, fire resistance, lightning resistance, and stun threshold. And all of this for 20 exalted orbs. However, this one has not been socketed and it has not been qualityed, so as you can see in the picture, it says energy shield up to 105, so it's going to become even better. Again, you can push the price a little bit more for any of these items and try and get better stats or minimize the dead mods that you get. But again, a very, very cheap option for this build to make it work. And lastly, on the gear pieces, we've got the belt, and no, we will not settle for a normal rare belt. We want an ingenuity belt, and this is what you can get: 28% on the left, 30% on the right, just for 20 exalted orbs. Do you know what you're going to sacrifice here? The only thing you're going to sacrifice here is 1 additional charm slot. And to be honest, it's okay, it's fine. Just start with this ingenuity belt. Whenever you have a couple of divine that you want to spare and you want to update that, you can update that. But the most important thing here is you're getting 30% additional bonus on the right ring and 28% additional bonus on the left ring. This is going to increase your damage, your attributes, your resistances. Nobody cares about that 3rd charm slot compared to what you're going to miss out on if you don't go for ingenuity belt that has these kind of percentages on it. And again, it's not even a divine, it's 20 exalted orbs. Very cheap stuff. Go and get yourself an ingenuity belt and it's gonna really, really improve your build. And lastly here, we've got the jewels. Jewel number 1 that you can look for costs around 10 exalted orbs, and this one only has 3 mods. It has attack speed with spears. The 2 most important things are the magnitude of ailments you inflict and the damaging elements you inflict with critical hits. Very, very important stuff. Again, 10 exalted orbs, and you can even slap it 1 more time with the exalted to get a 4th mod, hopefully for something like critical damage bonus. But second jewel is a sapphire, a little bit more expensive here because it's more of a full-on jewel here. We've got 3 good mods and 1 dead one for us. We don't care about the minion one, but we do have 16% critical damage bonus, 1% of maximum life on kill, good stuff for survivability, and of course, magnitude of ailments you inflict. Important stuff there. Next jewel that you definitely want to try and pick up is the From Nothing diamond with the Heart Stopper as the mod there, which costs around 40 exalted orbs. This is the one that I told you that you can actually put it anywhere and it's going to create this little circle right here, and you're going to get this cluster, which is very, very important. But we cover all of that in depth in the previous video. And last but not least, I wanted to show you an alternative option for a time loss jewel in case you want to go for that. I found an emerald that's not very bad. We've got 50 exalted orbs here, 1% on lightning damage, 2% on life recovery from flasks. But most importantly, the reason why I think this is worth is the lightning damage and the 3rd mod right there. The notables, 5% increased magnitude of damaging ailments you inflict with critical hits. And of course, as we said in the previous video, this is where you're gonna put this jewel. Okay, so as I promised, we're gonna do Zesh together. You guys saw how this build performs in the mapping because I did the Twisted Domain. I showed you that, but we didn't challenge Zesh yet. I don't know how it's gonna perform. We're gonna do it together live right now. So yes, here is the gear, the budget gear. My main gear is all the way here, all the good stuff, the good crown, the amazing chest piece that I have. This costs probably like 22 divine. 22 divine on the Tangle Tongue approximately, or 18, I don't really remember, but all the good stuff are here. My good rings, as you can see, all the breach rings are out. We've got the budget version of the Tangle Tongue, the crown, the focus, the amulet, everything here. So we're gonna go and do Zesh. I'm gonna try and keep this unedited, uncut, so you don't think that I'm cheesing my way through the build and everything. So I don't know how this is gonna perform now on a T4 pinnacle boss, and reminds me to show you, there you go, 8 out of 8, it is T4. So I'm really excited to see how this is gonna work. But the servers are really weird. The shaders are still downloading for some reason. So I'm really hoping I'm not gonna stutter here. Yeah, let's see. Let's begin with Orb of Storms. Yeah, I am stuttering. So I can get some rage right here. Then we're gonna start with this. Yes, look at the damage. Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Yeah, there you go. We stuttered a little bit, but that was, I consider that as a one-shot. I mean, we just got shot from a T4 Zesh with his ultimate ability, I guess, the charge-up ability, and we didn't die. So yeah, it's not the tankiest build, but it's not that squishy that you die one-shot. And all of that for like 300 Exalted, by the way. So there you go. I really hope that you enjoyed this guide, you guys. This is the budget version. It's very different compared to my other version, which obviously costs the same amount, but in Divines instead of Exalted. But I hope that this helped you out. Don't forget that the prices go up and down, so by the time that you see this and you try it, maybe the price is a little bit higher, a little bit lower. And this is not for every single person exactly what you got to do. Some people are going to have like spare 3 divine. Some people are not going to have 3 divine. Some people, they call budget 20 divines or 10 divines or 20 exalted. I don't know what you guys are doing. This is the lowest that I can actually go for this build. Really hope it helps you out. If it does, make sure you like this video as well. Support the channel so it can go well and we help out more people. Subscribe to the channel so you can see more content like this one. And of course, if you have more to invest or in the future you want to upgrade, you can click on that video so you can see the actual build and how you can scale with it. As always, I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Peace.